blood, brutality, betrayal. What you're about to witness is the moment Smackdown descended into absolute chaos, and I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that Paul Heyman may never be the same again. Two monsters unleashed their fury, and the Wiseman became their victim in an attack so vicious, so calculated, so downright disturbing that the entire WWE universe is still reeling from what went down. If you think you can handle what happened, then strap in, because this is Ring Rumble, and we're about to break down every bone-crushing second of the night WWE crossed a line they can't come back from. Before we dive into the carnage, do me a favor. If you appreciate the real talk, the unfiltered truth about what's happening in professional wrestling, hit that subscribe button right now. We're building something special here at Ring Rumble, a community that doesn't shy away from the hard-hitting stories, and your support means everything. We're all in this together, so let's grow this family. Now, let's get into this nightmare. Picture this. Smackdown is rolling along, the crowd is hot, and then Paul Heyman makes his way to the ring. The Wiseman, the special counsel, the man who's been orchestrating chaos in WWE for decades, standing in that ring with that microphone, doing what he does best. Talking, manipulating, scheming. But on this night, the words coming out of his mouth would be the catalyst for destruction. Heyman starts running his mouth about the current state of Smackdown, about power, about control, about how he's always got a plan. The crowd is eating it up because love him or hate him, Paul Heyman is a master of his craft. But then something shifts. The atmosphere changes. You can feel it through the screen. That's when the music hits. Bron Breaker's theme explodes through the arena speakers like a thunderclap, and the crowd erupts. This man is a wrecking ball in human form, a second-generation superstar with the genetics of the legendary Steiner brothers flowing through his veins, and he's been on an absolute tear since arriving on the main roster. Pure power, pure aggression, pure intensity. Breaker storms down that ramp with bad intentions written all over his face, and Heyman's expression shifts from confident to concerned in a heartbeat. But here's where it gets interesting. Here's where your gut should be telling you something is horribly wrong. Breaker isn't alone. As he reaches the bottom of the ramp, another figure emerges from the entranceway, and the entire arena collectively holds its breath. Bronson Reed, the Colossal, the Tsunami. 300 pounds of absolute devastation, a man who's been leaving a trail of broken bodies in his wake for months. And now these two forces of nature are converging on the ring with Paul Heyman standing dead center, alone, invulnerable. Heyman tries to talk his way out of it. Of course he does. That's what he does. The microphone is his weapon, his silver tongue is his shield, but on this night, words won't save him. Breaker slides into the ring from one side, Reed climbs over the ropes from the other, and Heyman is trapped. Cornered. A lamb surrounded by wolves. He's backpedaling, hands raised, trying to negotiate, trying to reason, but you can see it in his eyes. He knows what's coming. And then it happens. Breaker charges first. A spear that would make Goldberg jealous, driving Heyman into the mat with such force that you can hear the impact echo through the arena. The crowd gasps. Some are cheering the violence, others are shocked into silence, but everyone knows they're witnessing something significant. Heyman crumples like a ragdoll, the air driven from his lungs, his body folding in on itself from the impact. But they're not done. Not even close. Reed moves in, pulling Heyman's limp body off the canvas, positioning him, setting him up. The crowd knows what's coming. The Tsunami. Reed ascends to the second rope, his massive frame casting a shadow over Heyman's broken body, and then he launches himself into the air. 300 pounds of human devastation comes crashing down across Heyman's chest and abdomen with a sickening thud that makes your stomach turn. This isn't wrestling. This is an execution. Heyman convulses from the impact, his body responding to the trauma in ways that are genuinely disturbing to watch. Medical personnel are already scrambling from the back, referees are sliding into the ring trying to create distance between the attackers and their victim, but Breaker and Reed aren't listening to anyone. They're standing over Heyman's motionless body, surveying their handiwork, and the message is crystal clear. This is their show now. The cameras zoom in on Heyman's face, and it's haunting. This man who's always in control, always 3 steps ahead, always has a contingency plan, is now being loaded onto a stretcher, his eyes glazed over, possibly unconscious, definitely hurt. The crowd is in shock. The commentators are struggling to find words. This wasn't just an attack. This was a statement written in violence. But why? That's the question burning in everyone's mind. What could have possibly motivated these two monsters to target Paul Heyman specifically? Let's break this down because nothing in WWE happens without reason, without layers, without implications that stretch far beyond a single moment of violence. First, consider Bron Breaker's trajectory. This man has been unstoppable since his arrival, but there's been something missing. He's won championships, he's dominated opponents, but he hasn't had that defining moment that elevates him from excellent to legendary. Aligning himself with Bronson Reed and taking out one of the most recognizable figures in WWE history? That's a defining moment. That's a statement that can't be ignored. Then there's Bronson Reed, who's been operating as a singular force of destruction, crushing anyone put in his path but lacking direction, lacking purpose. By joining forces with Breakker and targeting Heyman, Reed gains focus. He gains narrative weight. He transforms from a monster into a monster with motivation. But the real genius, the real depth of this angle, is what it means for Paul Heyman. For years, Heyman has played puppet master, pulling strings, aligning himself with the most dominant forces in WWE. Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, CM Punk. He's always been protected, always been insulated from physical consequences because of the monsters he surrounds himself with. But on this night, those monsters turned on him. Or perhaps more accurately, a new generation of monsters decided to remove the old guard by eliminating their strategist. Think about the symbolism here. Heyman represents the establishment, the old way of doing things, the traditional power structure in WWE. Breakker and Reed represent the new generation, hungry, violent, and unwilling to wait their turn or play by the old rules. By taking out Heyman, they're not just attacking a man, they're attacking what he represents. They're declaring that the old order is dead, and they're the ones who killed it. The aftermath of this attack is going to ripple through WWE for months, possibly years. Where does Heyman go from here? Does he return seeking vengeance? Does he align himself with new muscle to combat this threat? Or is this the beginning of the end for the Wiseman's on-screen career? At his age, taking bumps like this isn't sustainable, and WWE might use this as the perfect storyline to write him off television, at least temporarily. And what about Breakker and Reed? This alliance opens up incredible possibilities. Are they coming for the tag team championships? Are they setting their sights on the world title picture? Or are they simply going to continue their path of destruction, targeting anyone and everyone who stands in their way? The beauty of this angle is that it's flexible. It can go in multiple directions, and all of them are compelling. There's also the question of response. Who steps up to challenge these monsters? Roman Reigns is the obvious candidate if Heyman was still serving as his counsel, but the Bloodline saga has evolved beyond that dynamic. Cody Rhodes? The undisputed champion might see Breakker and Reed as threats to his reign and decide to take action. Or perhaps this leads to the return of a major star, someone who's been absent from WWE television, coming back specifically to defend Heyman's honor and combat this new threat. The social media reaction to this attack has been explosive. Fans are divided, as they always are, but nobody is indifferent. Some are praising WWE for having the guts to do something shocking, something that feels dangerous and unpredictable in an era where everything often feels scripted and safe. Others are concerned about the violence, about whether WWE went too far in depicting such a brutal assault on a non-wrestler character. That division, that conversation, that's exactly what WWE wants. Controversy creates conversation, and conversation creates viewership. From a storytelling perspective, this attack is masterful because it accomplishes multiple objectives simultaneously. It elevates Breakker and Reed as legitimate threats. It creates sympathy for Heyman, a character who usually operates in moral gray areas. It generates storyline possibilities that can branch in numerous directions. And it gives Smackdown a defining moment that will be replayed and referenced for years to come. Let's also discuss the execution of this angle from a production standpoint because WWE's presentation matters. The camera work captured every brutal moment without being gratuitous. The commentary sold the severity without overselling it. The crowd reactions were genuine and powerful. Everything came together to create a moment that felt real, that felt consequential, that made viewers believe they were witnessing something significant rather than just another scripted segment. This is what WWE does better than any other promotion in the world. They create moments that transcend wrestling. The Austin McMahon rivalry, the Montreal Screwjob, the Yes Movement. These weren't just storylines. They were cultural moments that resonated beyond the wrestling bubble. While it's too early to say if Breakker and Reed's attack on Heyman will reach that level, it has the potential. It has the ingredients. Now it's about execution in the weeks and months that follow. The question WWE faces now is sustainability. Can they maintain this momentum? Can they follow through on the promise of this moment? Too often in modern wrestling, we see incredible moments that lead to disappointing follow-ups, angles that start hot but fizzle out due to poor booking decisions or lack of commitment. This angle cannot be one of those. The attack on Heyman demands payoff. It demands consequences. It demands a resolution that feels earned and satisfying. For Bron Breakker, this could be the launching pad to main event status. He has the look, the intensity, the in-ring ability, and now he has the moment. WWE needs to capitalize on this, needs to book him strong, needs to make him feel like the dangerous threat this attack suggests he is. Any backpedaling, any softening of his character, would undermine everything this moment established. For Bronson Reed, this is his opportunity to prove he's more than just a big guy who does big moves. The best monster characters in WWE history have depth, have motivation, have personality beyond just being large and destructive. Vader, Kane, Brock Lesnar. These characters had layers. Reed needs to develop those layers to truly capitalize on this moment. And for Paul Heyman, this could be his masterpiece. As a performer, he's given us countless incredible promos, managed some of the greatest stars in wrestling history, and helped shape the industry as we know it. If this is the beginning of his final major storyline, if this is setting up his eventual exit from regular WWE programming, then what a way to go out. Bloodied but not broken. Defeated but not destroyed. The Wiseman making one final play that cements his legacy forever. The WWE Universe is watching. The wrestling world is watching. And Ring Rumble will be here covering every development, every twist, every moment as this story unfolds. Because this isn't just another angle. This is the story that could define SmackDown for the next year. This is the moment that could make stars. This is the chaos that reminds us why we fell in love with professional wrestling in the first place. So what happens next? That's what we're all waiting to discover. Will Heyman return? Will Breakker and Reed continue their rampage? Will someone step up to stop them? The answers are coming, and you can bet we'll be breaking it all down right here. If you made it this far, you're exactly the kind of fan Ring Rumble is built for. Someone who appreciates the depth, the storytelling, the significance of what happens inside that squared circle. Do me a solid and drop a comment below with your thoughts. What do you think happens next? Who should step up to challenge Breakker and Reed? Is this the end of Paul Heyman's on-screen career? Let's discuss, because the best part of being a wrestling fan is the conversation, the debate, the community we build together. Smash that like button if this breakdown gave you a new perspective on what went down. Share this video with your wrestling friends because they need to see this analysis. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? We're just getting started here at Ring Rumble, and the best is yet to come. SmackDown delivered chaos. Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed